Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Stedman. In this video I want to teach you how to knit this jersey or blouse or short sleeve sweater. It's very easy to do. I hope you guys like it and give it a try. And here is the list of material you're gonna need to make it. For the introduction of this video, I'm recording with my cell phone. That way you can see the true color of the yarn. To make this jersey, I'm gonna use Barcelona from Loops and Thread. They have 200 grams or 300 meters each. They are bulky 5, 100% acrylic, and the color that I'm gonna use is greenery. The stray needles, they are 8 millimeters. The circular needle 8 millimeter, and they measure from tip to tip 42 centimeters. You're gonna need a marker, tapestry needle and scissor, and a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil to keep track of the rows, because the same that you're gonna do in the front, you have to do one for the back, exactly the same, and the same for the sleeves to make them exactly the same. Okay, you need to keep track of what you're doing. We're gonna start by wrapping our yarn on our needle 26 times. Once you have your 26 time, you're gonna pull out of the needle, fold it in half and mark plus a little bit to leave the tail to cast on 52 stitches. We're gonna do 2 of these for the front and the back, and this one don't seem like much, but it's for a size large because this stretch a lot. Okay, so you have a really nice stretch because we're working with size 8 millimeter needles. So the only thing that you have to make sure that this is multiple of 2. That way you can do 2 net 2 purl, 2 net 2 purl for the border. For this part don't matter because it's net on the right side and purl in the wrong side. Once you have the tail long enough, you're gonna do a slip knot, and I don't gonna cast on my 52 stitches because I already have my 2 parts, front and back of the sweater finished. So I just gonna show you how you're gonna cast on and how we're gonna do the stitches and those 52 stitches. So if you want this, let's say for an extra large, you can cast on 60 to 64 stitches if you are working with the 8 millimeter needles. Like I said, this stretch a lot, especially if you work nice and loose. If you work tight, and then you have to cast on more stitches. So like that, you're gonna continue until you have all your stitches on your needle. Once you cast on all your stitches, you're gonna do a little knot here to secure the last one. And I only cast on 18 for mine. It's just to show you how we're gonna work the piece. So we're gonna do a border. And I did 6 rows of 2 net 2 purl in here, and this measure 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters. Okay, for the border. So I did 6 rows. So you're gonna start with 2 net. And then 2 purls, two net, two purl. And you're gonna continue doing this all the way to the end of the first row of 6. Once you finish that row, you're gonna work the stitches as you see them. So I have here 2 purl and then 2 net. So I'm gonna start with 2 purl. It's as you see the stitches, you're gonna work. 2 purl, 2 net, 2 purl, 2 net. And like that, you're going to continue until you have 6 rows. So I'll meet you here when I have my 6th row. Once you finish your 6th row, it will be like this width. So now we're going to knit in the right side and purl in the wrong side. for 76 row, and row 77 we're going to cast off or bind off. So we're going to start counting row 1 from now until row 76, and we're going to be working in the right side of the piece when the tail is in the front at the tip of the needle, and when the tail is in the back and here, like in the back, you're going to be working purls in the wrong side. That's what we're going to be doing here. This is the right side. You see the tail is in here. These are net, and these are purls in here. So you're going to net all your stitches all the way to the end. So this is a very easy piece to do. Even a beginner can make this little jersey or sweater. So you're going to net all your stitches. Once you finish the first row, you're going to turn your work around. Now you're going to do a border stitch at the beginning and at the end, and always going to be a net stitch. So either you're working in the right side or the wrong side of the piece, you're always going to start with a net, with one net, and then you're going to continue with purls until you have only one left on your needle. Then you're going to net that one. So you're working in the right side or the wrong side. The first one and last stitch always is a net. So remember to keep track of your rows, and this already is row number 2 of 76. Now we're going to work on row number 3, and again we're working in the right side of the piece, and you're going to net all your stitches. And then when you are working in the other side, you're going to be doing purl. The only thing that you have to net the first and last stitch in the wrong side of the piece. So it's very easy to do, very easy to follow the pattern. It's as simple as net, go. So you're going to work, let me give you the measurements, just in case you're working with a different yarn. And I'm going to give you the length of my piece. And measure exactly 22 inches. And a centimeter is exactly 56 centimeters long. Okay, so you're going to continue working, knitting in the right side and purling in the wrong side until you have 76 row. And then on row 77, we're going to cast off or bind off, and then you're going to do another piece exactly the same. So it's very easy. Just do 6 row of border, net in the right side, purl on the wrong side, 2 stitch of border of net. Either you're working in the right or wrong side, is net those 2 stitches, the first and the last one, and work straight. No increase, no decrease, just a straight piece. And finish row number 76. Now in row 77, we're going to cast off or bind off, and we're going to do it in a net stitch because we are working in the right side and it's net. So you're going to net the first one and the second one, and then you're going to pass the first one and top of the second one and off your needle. You're going to do the same with the next one and the one in the back. You're going to pass it to the one in the front and cast it off. Like that, you're going to continue casting off all your stitches, and then you'll finish this piece, and then you're going to do the other one exactly the same. And once you have those two, I will meet you here to continue with our jersey. Once you finish, you're going to have one left, and you're going to cut a tail long enough for sewing the shoulder. I'm going to pass it through here to secure, and the same you're going to do when you do the other one for the other shoulder. Here I have my two pieces, and they measure just by opening. You see they tend to roll a little bit here. By opening this up in here to the other side, measure 19 inches or 48 centimeters each piece. But if I do this, you see it's wider, so I stretch a lot. And I want to recommend, if you don't have circular needle and you want to do the sleeve and the collar with a straight needle, you can. I did a few weeks ago a sweater with a perfect granny square with netted, so you can guide yourself with that one for the sleeve. The only thing that the sleeve for that one, they are a little bit loose for my taste, for mine. So you can do for this one, if you want the sleeve a little more fitted, you can cast on less stitches, let's say 20 to 24 stitches, or you can use a smaller netting needle like a 7mm, and the increase every 10 rows. The same for the collar, you can cast on some stitches and do like this, 6 to 10 row, and then sew it in the neck. But for mine, I'm gonna do all that with my circular needle. Something else that you can do for the collar in here is sew one shoulder and measure it, and come to the other side, measure the same distance and mark in here and here, and then you're gonna come and cast on all those stitches open in your straight needle and do that collar for, I don't know, 6 to 10 rows. But all that I'm gonna do with my circular needle for mine. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sew the shoulder. I'm gonna leave the tail in here. I'm gonna sew the other one, leaving the tail in here. For the sleeve, I'm gonna do exactly the same. I'm gonna come from here. I'm gonna start sewing up, and I'm gonna leave around 18 centimeters and a half opening for my sleeve. I'm gonna leave the tail there waiting, and the same on the other side. I will try it on. If I found that the shoulder, the width of the shoulder is fine, I finished them up. But if I found that it's too open, I will sew a little more, or if it's too close, I will lose a few stitches. The same for the sleeve. If I found that 18 and a half is too tight, I will lose some stitches, or I sew a little more and then finish that up, and then cast on the stitches in here for the sleeve, and then work them as I go. And I will show you that with the circular needles. I'm going to start sewing the shoulder, and the same way that you're sewing the shoulder, you will sew the rest of your piece and the side as well. Make sure that you sew the sides even. But remember, if you are doing the sleeve separate, you have to do the sleeve first and then sew them to the piece, and then sew under the sleeve, and in the side of or a little sweater or jersey. Jersey is in Spanish, jersey is how you call the piece that is netted on the right side and purl on the wrong side. Here I sew 13 centimeters or 5 inches on each side. So if you like, you can leave the color like this, or you can cast on your stitches back on your circular needle and do a 2 by 2 finish color in your sweater, or you can leave like that. The same for the sleeve, you can leave it like this, or you can do the stitches, cast on the stitches on your needle, do a short sleeve or a long sleeve, whichever way you like. Here I'm going to start around the center of the back, and so around here I'm going to pass my needle, and then I come here, and you see all the stitches that we cast off. You can see them there, they're like chain, and you can come to the space here. See, I have 3 already, and like this you're going to continue all the way around, casting on all your stitches back again and your circular needle. It's very easy. When you count your stitches to cast on for your color, make sure that you have multiple 4. That way you can do 2 net 2 purl, 2 net 2 purl, and you continue with the sequence. Because if you don't have multiple 4, maybe you start with 2 net and finish with 2 net, so you will have 4 net in one space. You have to make sure that you have 2 net 2 purl, 2 net 2 purl, and if you start with 2 net, you finish with 2 purl. So it has to be multiple of 4. The cast on in here. In mine I cast on 52 stitches, and it's a little bit tight to work. If you like with the crochet hook, and instead of casting on like I showed you, you can cast on your stitches with the crochet hook. It will be easier for you to work the first row. But after you work the first row like this, it will be fine, nice and loose, okay? So you have to do 2 net 2 purl, 2 net 2 purl all the way around. So you're going to continue with 2 net 2 purl all the way around. This first row is a little more difficult, but after that it will be really easy to work. So in the two first one, the 2 net, I try to do them like this, like I always do my nets, but it's a little bit more difficult, so I'm trying to do this first row just in the back strand like that, you see, and this one here. That way it's easier to do this first row. And when we get to this point here, we will place the marker and then start counting our rows, okay? all rounds. So you see, I started with 2 net and I finished with 2 pearl with my 52 stitches. So now it will be easier. I place the marker and it's much easier to work. Your stitches, 2 net to pearl, 2 net to pearl until you have the desired length. This is row 2. So I guess I will be doing from 6 to 10 rows or rounds. I will let you know. So you're netting the net and purling the pearls. You see how easy it is now. I did 7 rows. Now in row number 8 I'm gonna cast off or bind off. And I'm gonna work the stitches as you see them. So this is a net. I'm gonna net my first one and my second one. And I'm gonna pass the first one on top of the second one and cast it off. Now I'm gonna do a pearl and pass the net on top of the pearl. Another pearl and pass the first pearl on top of the second pearl. Now I have to do my nets. So I'm gonna net this one and pass that pearl on top of that net. And another net and that pearl on top of the other net. And you see, like that, you're gonna continue casting your stitches, and when we get here to the end, I will show you how you're gonna finish here, that way it's nice and even. I have 1 stitches left, and I'm gonna pass that tail through that loop, and you see it's uneven on the top. That's what happens when you work with circular needle. So now I'm gonna show you how you're gonna even this up with my tapestry needle. I did one of the sleeve, and I decided to do short sleeve because I've done quite a few sweaters with long sleeve, and I tried this one on and I like the length, so I decided, well, I'm gonna finish here, do the border, and look really, really nice. So I cast on 48 stitches for my sleeve, so I had to do the same in the other side. And here I'm gonna cast on my circular needle, my 48 stitches, and work my sleeve the same length as this one. So like I said, I did 48 stitches, and I did 28 rows until here, and 6 rows of the border, and in row 7 I cast off my stitches, and I did decreases as I work those 28 rows. So in the first row I did 2 decreases, one at the beginning of the row and one at the end, and then I work until row 6. I did 1 decrease in the beginning of the row. In row 12 I did a decrease at the end of the row. Row 18 I did a decrease in the beginning of the row, and 24 at the end, and then in 26 at the beginning, and 28 at the end. So those were the decreases that I did, and in total I have here 40 stitches that I did in the 2 net to purl. So now I'm going to show you how you're going to cast on your stitches. To cast on the stitches, you're going to need the crochet hook, and you're going to do slip knot to create a loop, and then you're going to come here where you sew together the front and the back, and here under the arm you're going to pass your hook and pull that loop, and that loop is the first stitch. Now in here you're going to have the border row that was netted in the right side and netted in the wrong side, so you're not going to work in that row. You're going to work in the net row beside that you have like a V. So in the outer side of the V, in the little leg or strand, you're going to pass your hook and create your loop for the next stitch. And you go to the next one, you see, to that strand and the outside, and you have to keep count, because the same amount that you cast on in this side you have to do it in the other side. And for mine was 48. You see, you have this one here, and then this is the row of net. You're gonna go to that strand in the outside, because with the net stitch you create like a V, so you have the outer strand, you're gonna pass it through that one, okay? And you're gonna continue casting on until you have all your stitches. So I will meet you here to do row number 1, because in row number 1 we're gonna do a decrease in the beginning and at the end of that row. After that is only 1 decrease when we do row 6, row 12, every 6 row until the end, that we do it more one after another. I have my 48 stitches, and I will use the marker in the next row. So we're gonna start knitting these two together, and then we're gonna continue knitting all the way around until we have the last two that we're gonna knit them together, these two. And after that, and then we place the marker and start guiding ourselves each time we pass the marker that we finish a round or a row. So you're gonna knit all your stitches, and see, they look really nice. And here the sleeve attached to the body of the sweater. I have 2 left, so I'm gonna do those 2 together. And I finished row 1. Now I'm gonna place my marker. I'm gonna start row number 2, and you're gonna knit every single stitch in row 2, 3, 4, and 5. In row 6 we do the next decrease. So remember, you will have to work in a net stitch every single row, and keep count of your rows. That way you know the same amount that you do in this one you do in the other one, okay? And remember, it's row 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I made you here in row 6. Finish row number 5. Now in row number 6 we're gonna do the decrease, and we're gonna do the 2 first one together, and that's the only decrease that we're gonna do in this row. And you're gonna knit until row number 12. Then you're gonna do the next decrease, and the decrease will be at the end of that row, or row 12, because we're gonna be doing 1 decrease at the beginning and then the next one at the end. That way the decrease is nice and even under the arm. So you're gonna knit until row 12. I'm going to start row number 12, and this time the decrease is at the end of this row. So you're going to knit until you have 2 left behind the marker, and then you do those 2 together. So like that you're going to continue until row 18, and then you're going to do the decrease at the beginning of the row, and then you're going to work until row 24 that the decrease is going to be at the end of the row. And then if you're doing the sleeve short like this one, you will do a decrease in row 26 at the beginning, and then in row 28 at the end. That way you'll have your 40 stitches for this in here. You have to make sure that your decrease are done, that you are left with multiple of 4 on your needle. That way you can do 2 net 2 purl. Okay, so if you want this long sleeve, you will do the decrease in row 26, and then you continue until row 30. You'll do the next decrease every 6th row until you have the length that you want for your sleeve, and you have multiple of 4 on your needles. That way you can do the little border of 2 net 2 purl. Okay, so you can continue working this, doing the decrease until you have this smaller and enough to do the 2 by 2. So at the end of this row I will do my decrease, and I will leave here in which row you're going to do the decrease. I have my 28 rows. Now we're going to do 6 rows at 2 net 2 purl. But remember, if you want long sleeve, you have to continue working the length until you have the length of your arm, and continue with the decrease every 6th row. From 24 you're doing in 30, 36, and so on. And make sure that you have at the end multiple of 4 to do the border. So you're going to do 2 net 2 purl, 2 net, 2 purl, and you're going to continue like this for 6th row. You're going to net the net and purl the purl, and I will meet you here to do the cast off or bind off. I have my 6th row, and I'm going to cast off my stitches and remove the marker because I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to knit the first one and the second one, and I'm going to pass the first one on top of the second one and out of the needle. So now I have to purl the next one, and I'm going to pass the one behind and top of that one, and purl the next one and do the same, exactly the same we did the color. We're going to do this here and lose the tail exactly the same. Now I'm gonna start sewing the end of the sleeve to make sure that it's even and to lose that tail. It's very easy to do, and once you finish here you will lose all your tails and you're done your piece. Well, once you do the other sleeve, okay? I lost all of the tails. Now I'm gonna sew this little tag in here, a handmade tag. This is the only one I can find in eBay. I want to customize some with my name. Now I will secure the yarn in the back and lose the tail, and I will show you the end result. Once you finish, it will look like this, with a nice short sleeve. And with a little tag in the bottom. So from the 2 balls of yarn, I have 92 grams left. So if I had made this long sleeve, it was enough with 2 balls of these. Okay, so now I'm gonna put it on my mannequin and I'll show you the end result. Well, this is the end result, and it looks fantastic with a short sleeve. I really love this piece. Very practical and easy to do. It is the little tag. It's very, very easy. So I hope you guys like it, and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And if you make this piece and you want to send me some picture, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Stedman, or you can find me in my Instagram, Ruby Stedman Crochet. Please share my video with friends and family. That way you help me grow here on YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day.